I'm the assistant principal and director of guidance for Croton High School. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about our students who are in grades 9 and 10. Next year will be sophomores and juniors. So this is a quick overview of the different things we're going to go through tonight. Just a note that we will leave some time for questions at the end. So if you have a question, that'll be the time. And like I mentioned before, we're going to do our best to hold this under an hour tonight. To begin with, the graduation credits that are required for all students in New York are 22 credits of graduation. And those are broken down according to New York State regulation. Our school counselors meet with our students every year and go over graduation requirements, and they work with them on scheduling their classes for next year. One of the important things for graduation, which is a Board of Education requirement, is 25 hours of community service, and those hours are recorded online through our volunteer access, or through volunteeraccess.com, which is linked on our guidance website. So if you go to the guidance website, there's a link there for community service, and that takes the students to volunteer access. Every student has their own account, and that's where they enter and log their hours. One thing I want to mention, some of our students have been struggling a little bit in the time of pandemic to find their community service hours. We are being as flexible as possible with those hours. For the current year's graduating class, though the number of hours required have not changed. And that would be a Board of Education decision, whether or not that needs to happen. But we are allowing flexibility. For your students, that applies mainly to meeting the requirement of 40 hours of community service for National Honor Society. But that flexibility that we're allowing includes being more flexible about service to the family, being more flexible about the types of things that we would allow. For example, a great example that happened recently, I had a high school student who wanted to start a gaming group with some younger students that he normally wouldn't be leading necessarily, but started basically a recreational activity for younger students. And that was something that we approved, which maybe we wouldn't have in normal times. Another great example is that we're approving a lot for babysitting, even for family and relatives, because during the time of pandemic, it really is a community service to provide some babysitting service. So that's something that we have been approving some of that normally we wouldn't. Okay, going on to other requirements, Regents exams are required past the credits for graduation. There's a total of 5 exams that you have to pass. We refer to it as 4+1 because there's 4 big ones, so to speak. The ELA, the math, the science, and the social studies Regents exams are required. Science and social studies are simply or actually any of these are one from any of those subjects. ELA, there's only one exam that falls under ELA, but any math, any science, or any social studies Regents exam meets the requirement. For the +1, they need a passing grade on any one of several options. So it could be a second math exam, it could be a second science exam, or social studies, or for some of our students meet that requirement by earning the CDOS credential, Many of our tech programs can earn that. And students who are spending time doing career work out in the community as part of their graduation have the possibility of earning that +1 that way. All right, so on to course selections for next year, and Leslie Troyce is going to start. Leslie, you're on mute. Make sure you unmute yourself.
Yeah, I muted it before and I forgot. I'm sorry. Hello, everyone. As you know, English is a requirement every year in high school. So for our 9th graders, you'll go to English 10, but the student will have the honors option that they have this year in English 9, if they choose to do so, and they will get the honors designation on their transcript if they complete that work. For our 10th graders, they're going into 11th grade English 11, or they have the option of the AP English Language and Composition. All our AP courses do require teacher recommendations, and AP English Language is one of those as well. But regardless of what English class you go into, whether it's a Regents level or an AP level, or even if you do the honors, there is summer reading for all English courses at every grade level each year. I'm sure you're familiar with this because your kids are already in high school, but there will be those English reading, summer reading requirements. We do have some we have an elective this year for the first time, creative writing. It is a full year elective and the kids are really enjoying it. It's different writing than they get in their English classes. So it's a different take on English for those kids who are interested in that. We also have something under it's a humanities course. It's listed under English. It's called Charm. They are basically, there's 2 courses, Charm 1 and Charm 2. They are half-year courses and they are standalone courses. You don't have to take both. Charm 1 is a survey of the humanities, and it covers topics not generally covered in our English and our social studies classes. So again, it's not a repeat of that. And various topics are investigated and studied. Some are chosen by the class, some are, predetermined. And it's writing, research, class discussions, portfolio work. And, it's a study of that. The Charm 2 is actually student research in one area of the humanities. And the student, this is a self-directed course for the student, and they can choose where they want to focus their study in humanities. And there will be a significant exhibition project at the end of the semester that they will really get a lot of great research skills in this, and time management skills, sort of self-motivation. So those are 2 courses that electives that are offered in the English line, the humanities. Okay, moving on to social studies. Again, something you have to take each year in high school. The grade 9 students have the option of doing the Global 2 or the Global 2 or the honors option as well, or AP World History. So they have the option of taking the AP level in social studies in 10th grade in place of the Global 2. And the students that are currently in grade 10 now have to take US history, but they can challenge the AP US history course if they would like to as well. We have social studies. Each year we switch off from year to year. Next year is the very popular history through film course. It's a semester course. And we also have the In Humanity Facing History course. We do have a course catalog on our website, the guidance website, and there is a full description of all these courses in there. So, you can certainly look up all these courses to find out, which to find out they might be interested in. So I'm not going to go into description on all of them, but they are on the catalog, which is listed on our website. Okay, moving on. Next is science. Students, science course is determined by several factors. Their interest, number 1, maybe their future goals. And there's prerequisites for many of these science courses. Many of them are math, but some of them are previous science courses. And again, all the prerequisites are listed in the course catalog. So these are courses that are available, as you can see, by grade level, grade 10 and 11. A lot of them are offered to both. If an AP science course, the general level must be taken, the Regents level must be taken prior to the AP level, except for AP Physics 1. That can be taken as a standalone course without a prior physics class. We also have our science research program. This is a very popular program for students. It is a 3-year program, so it's typically begun in the 10th grade. So this is available to 9th grade students. Again, more information in the course catalog. Many of our students go on to present amazing projects, and they study something, they work on a project of their own choosing, of their own interest. So it really is self-directed in that sense. There is a possibility of getting SUNY Albany credit eventually. It's not embedded in the course per se, but above and beyond the course requirements, students can and do get credit through SUNY Albany. Okay, now moving on to the math. All students will have a math recommendation from their current teacher, but this is the typical, you can see here, the typical path for intro students who are currently in intro to algebra. You know, the next step would be algebra 1. Students who are in algebra 1 do have a choice between 2-level geometry classes. And again, discussions with the teacher is encouraged, and teachers will be presenting these options to their students in their classes as well. And again, if the student is now in geometry or applied geometry, those are the options that are available to them next year. And again, algebra 2, those options, and algebra 2 trig would have those options going forward. Many students double up in math and take some of the math electives, which are listed below. There is Computer Science 1 and Computer Science 2. Both are half-year courses, but you must take Computer Science 1, obviously, before you take Computer Science 2. Many students take both, which lasts, you know, which turns into a full year computer science curriculum. Many students opt to take statistic courses, or we have AP statistics. And we also have computer science, an AP computer science class. Students would need to complete Computer Science 1, Computer Science 2, or they may have outside experience, which the teacher would evaluate to see if they were ready for AP computer science. So those are courses that are available in the math, the general plan for math for our students.
Leslie, if I can jump in for a second, we have some resources that are available on our website under the scheduling tab. And among those resources is a flow chart for our math courses, which shows the general progression as well as the electives. So that's something that in the math realm, people may find really useful.
So now I'm going to turn it over to Tanya Thibodeau.
Thank you. So to continue on with the other academic courses that they have options for next year, we're looking at world language. And these go beyond the general graduation requirements. For graduation, 1 credit of world language is required for graduation. However, we highly encourage that students take at least a minimum of 2 to 3 years of world language, especially if they, of the same world language, especially if they are looking to go college bound. We recommend a minimum of 3 years. So continuing on to the next level is obviously highly encouraged. And for students that enjoy world language, consider talking to your child about starting an additional world language. We offer 3 different languages. We have French, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. And the 3 levels that they could have, the introduction level, they can have options for next year if they are interested in continuing on with an additional language. Phys ed is required for all 4 years. So for the freshman parents that are joining us tonight, your students are in PE classes with just freshmen. After freshman year, it is mingled with 10th through 12th grades, and they will take physical education for all 4 years. Health is a requirement from New York State. It's a semester course, so a half-year class. And generally, we recommend students to take that in 10th grade. The majority of our students do take it in 10th grade, but it's not mandatory that they take it in 10th. They just need to take it prior to graduating from high school. Okay, art and music. So for graduation requirement purposes, 1 credit of art or music is required by New York State. Not all of our art and music courses fulfill that music and art graduation requirement. However, the courses that we have listed here that have the asterisks next to them are the courses that satisfy the art and music New York State graduation requirement. So of the art classes, that's studio art and studio and crafts. And of the music courses, it's concert band or chorus or select chorus, jazz band, and strings. The other art and music courses that we offer are considered elective credit. So looking ahead to sophomore year from more of a guidance curriculum perspective and what we will be working with your students on. So for freshmen going into sophomore year, we highly advise the continuation of getting involved and building your resume. So getting involved in school activities, getting involved in clubs, sports, jobs, anything that the student might have some interest in and exploring, now's the time to start doing that and continue doing that if they have started already. From a guidance curriculum perspective, in sophomore year, we start working with the students and exploring more career options with them. All sophomores we'll have, we will meet with all sophomores and we will have them do a interest inventory in the Naviance program that we have. Naviance is a program for career and college exploration that we use with students all 4 years. For the freshman parents in the audience tonight, your freshmen will be getting an introduction to Naviance over the next couple of weeks in their PASS class. And then, like I said, the focus next year is having them really explore more of their interests and their skills, the different careers that link up to those, and the different college majors that relate to those career interests. We also, throughout the year, it's been a little harder this year with the pandemic, but in previous years, and we'll hopefully get some more going in the spring, we do career visits where we have different professionals in the field come and speak with our students about their profession, their career paths, how they got there, just so they can start exploring different career paths. The PSAT 10, that is a practice exam for sophomores. So there's 2 different PSATs. There's a PSAT 10, and then there's a PSAT that's given in 11th grade, which we'll talk a little bit about more next. So the PSAT 10 is really like a practice to the practice. So it's giving sophomores the ability to sit for a standardized test, get used to the format, get used to the wordings of the questions before the stakes start becoming a little higher for them. For the sophomore parents that are in the audience tonight, we will be giving the PSAT 10 to the current sophomores on Wednesday, March 24th. An alert about that will be going home this Friday in Mrs. Dubak's weekly update. So be on the lookout for that. There'll be information about the deadline and sign up, which is obviously right here. You can see January 29th is the deadline. And if for the sophomore parents, if any of your students receive accommodations, if you have a 504 plan or an IEP and they receive special accommodations and you have not yet been gone through the process of approval for the College Board, please reach out to your school counselor and we can get that process started for you. And next, I'd like to introduce Kirby Mosenthal.
Okay, good evening. So as you can see on this slide, there is a lot happening in junior year. So we want to take a moment to kind of go over some things coming up next year and also some opportunities that your students can take advantage of. So one of the opportunities that our upperclassmen have for our juniors and seniors are online courses. We have partnered with VHS Learning. It's an online platform that offers courses. And every year we have a certain number of slots available for students to apply to take an online course through VHS Learning. If a student has an interest in a course that we do not offer, this is a good opportunity for them. They cannot take a course through this program that we already offer, but there are a ton of fantastic electives offered through this program. So when we meet with students to start going over their courses for next year, if they are interested in taking an online course, they can look at the course catalog. It's right on their website. And we have an application that we can give them for the students to fill out. It is filled on a first come, first served basis, but our seniors do have priority since it's their last chance to take it before they graduate. We also have courses available through the BOCES Tech Center. There's a campus right in Yorktown. So for our students who choose to take classes at the Tech Center, we have busing available for those students to go there to take their courses. The program is a half-a-day program, so the students would spend half the day in Yorktown and half the day with us in order to still satisfy all graduation requirements on time. The courses offered at the Tech Center are fantastic. They really vary from auto mechanics to culinary, cosmetology, HVAC, you name it. There's a whole plethora of options. So if you go to the website listed, you can see course descriptions and course videos. And we do know that in the next couple of weeks, they are putting together a virtual tour program of the campus since students can't visit in person, but they will have an information session available online for students to learn more about those options. And those are available to juniors and seniors. You can go 2 years in a row, or you can go for just 1 year. It's pretty flexible if you work with your counselor to figure that out. So the PSAT, you just heard about the PSAT 10. In junior year in the fall, that's when students have the option to take the PSAT NMSQT, which is a bit of a tongue twister, but basically that just means it's also an opportunity for the National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. So we would give that during the school day in October. Students sign up right in the guidance office. We always send out a mass email about how to sign up. And it's a great practice. The test is really just to get exposure to what it's like to sit for an SAT without the stress of those official test scores being submitted anywhere. And then later on in the year, students would want to start preparing for the SAT and or ACT. Those are two different test organizations, but either one could be used for college admissions purposes. Many schools now, like many colleges this year, are test optional. So you might have been hearing that a lot because of COVID. However, we don't know what those trends are going to look like in the next year or two. So we are recommending that students still sit for at least one, if not a couple of those exams as they go into their junior year. We recommend that students take it in the late winter or spring of junior year, because usually by then they've had a little bit more experience with their math classes, their English classes to be better prepared for those exams. And by then they've taken the PSAT as a practice. There is an optional essay for both exams. We recommend students take it just in case they need it for any colleges. Oh, and I was just gonna say, yeah, so, and they're looked at equally in admissions process. So it doesn't matter, they're a little bit different. There's a bunch of nuances between them, but that's something that next year we go into much more detail about. The SAT 2s, so there are subject tests in specific areas. If a student is taking an AP course, that would usually correspond with taking an SAT subject test. That's the level of content that's usually required to do really well in one of those tests. They are 1 hour long specific tests, so it's very content heavy and focused. These are not required by most colleges. In fact, there are very select few colleges that actually require these at all. But sometimes a student would like to, show proficiency in order to enhance their application in a sense. So if they're taking an AP course and they're interested in one of these exams, please have them talk to their counselor and or their AP teacher. And then the college search process. Junior year is really when we dive into this process even deeper with students. We always do a lesson in the beginning of junior year with the students, showing them how to use the search feature in Naviance. There's a comprehensive feature there that students can put in a bunch of different criteria and generate a list of colleges that they might want to explore further. And they can use their own test scores and GPA to kind of see the trends over the last few years of Croton students who have applied to those schools and see kind of the range of students applying to all sorts of colleges. We also have junior meetings. These are individual meetings that we do with the students and their parents, usually from January through March. And this is when we get to talk to the student about their post-secondary goals. So maybe we're talking about what kind of colleges that they're interested in, or maybe we're talking about the fact that they don't want to go to college at all and they would prefer to find a job or go to a trade school or maybe the military. That's where these conversations are really individualized and personal to the student and the family to go over the process in more detail. National Honor Society. This is an option for juniors if they would like to apply. It is by no means required. It's certainly not necessary to apply to college, but if it's an honor that that student would like to apply for, we invite them to do so if they are eligible. In order to be eligible, we run an updated GPA list at the end of the first semester of junior year. So in early February, once we have those updated GPAs, we will see if the student has a 3.5 GPA out of a 4.33. And for the sake of National Honor Society, in this situation, we actually do weight the GPA, meaning if a student ever took AP courses, those would have a little extra weight in their overall GPA to determine if they have a 3.5. And if so, we also look to see if the student has completed by the end of that semester of the first semester of junior year, 40 hours of community service. And by saying completed, they actually need to have it documented. In the volunteer access site that Mr. Maxim mentioned earlier, if they have those hours documented, they would be eligible to then submit an application. And the application really looks for beyond just the academic achievements, also character and leadership qualities. And I will now turn it over to Allison Millen, our student assistance counselor.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Kirby. So we have a lot of academic and social emotional supports at the high school, one of them being the Croton-Harmon Advisory Program, or CHAP, and that's where students, about 12 to 15 students, meet with a staff member to discuss individual and or school-wide issues. The program allows students to form a relationship with a faculty member in a non-traditional fashion. Students remain with their CHAP teacher throughout their entire high school career. We also offer a helping period, which is academic support with every teacher, and that meets from 2:24 to 3 o'clock every day. And I am the student assistance counselor, and I'm at the high school on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays this year, and PVC on Mondays and Thursdays. And I provide education, prevention, and counseling to 7th through 12th grade students. Students come to see me for a lot of different reasons. It can be for stress or family or peer conflict, but it's also for students who are at risk or involved in substance use or risky behavior. It's a voluntary program. I have a lot of students who self-refer, but they can also be referred by their peers, by their parents, and by faculty members. I'm also the advisor to the Teen Leadership Council, or TLC, which is a peer leadership group where we work with students to promote substance use prevention, emotional well-being, and a healthy lifestyle for students. We also have 3 wonderful counselors at the high school. The student has the same school counselor for 4 years. The school counselors provide academic, social, emotional, and college and career supports for all students. And they are assigned by student's last name. We also have 2 wonderful school psychologists that are full-time at the high school, and they're also available for social, emotional, and learning supports for all of our students. All right, and I think it's back to
Allison,
Mr.
so
Maxwell.
that takes us to our last slide here. I just want to point out some additional resources that are available to you. The biggest one is our website. If you go to the chufsty.org website and go to Departments Guidance, then you can select the high school guidance website. There are many things available there, including a link to that all-important Naviance website, including our course catalog and our college planning guide. We have information about college testing, and this presentation will also be there. I will tomorrow be putting the slides up from this presentation, and as quickly as I can turn it around, the recording from this presentation. So that website is a great resource. So that's the end of our slides. We're going to move to question and answer, and I'm going to, for our purposes of any recorded audience, I'm going to stop the recording there. But thank you for listening, and we want to just be sure that everybody knows all of us are available to help you with questions at any time through this whole process. We covered tons of information tonight, and you may have questions that are specific to you and your student, and that's fine. That's what our counseling team is here for. So you reach out to your counselor and get that personalized help.